Hello everyone, it's Jen from Old Tinkerer Studio. In this Blender tutorial for beginners, you will learn how to animate a border introduction and render the animation in Blender 2.9. So let's get on with the tutorial. We will be learning how to make a simple animated border introduction in Blender 2.9 using curves. First, I will remove the camera's rotation and location using Alt-R and Alt-G. Under the animation workspace, I move the camera up along the Z-axis so we can view the scene. With the cube deleted, I add a Bezier curve, which is going to work as our border. In edit mode, I use a shortcut of V to change the handle type to vector. Under the overlays, I changed the handles to none, since I'll only be using straight edges. I renamed the object to border in the outliner. Then I turn on snapping with the option for absolute grid snap and make sure that I'm in top view. I move the right point along the x-axis to resize the curve. I then extrude the point down along the y-axis to the size that I want for the side of the border. Then I continue to extrude the point until I have a complete border. Back in object mode, I center the border. Under the Materials tab, I add just a basic color for the material. Now I add a second Bezier curve and move it back along the y-axis so it's not in the way. I rename the second curve to Target, since this will be the target for the thickness of the border. Tab into edit mode and change the curve to a vector, and then move the left point to the center of the scene. Back in object mode, I select the border and open up the Object Data Properties tab. I changed the shape to 2D since this will be a flat 2D animation. Under the Geometry section, I choose the target as the object under the bevel section. I select the target and open the Properties panel with the N key. Under the Item tab, I lock the Y and Z axis for the scale. I then use the X-axis scale to scale the border thickness. I then select the camera and move it up along the Z-axis until I can see the border at the size that I want. I then select the border, and I use the bevel end to see how the animated border will look. In object mode, I add text using Shift-A. In edit mode, I use backspace to clear the default text, and then I type my own text. Under the Data Object Properties tab, in the Paragraph section, I change the horizontal alignment to center, and I change the vertical alignment to center. Under the Materials tab, I give the text a light yellow color. Back in object mode, I add a circle to the scene. In edit mode, I add a face using the F key, and then I scale the circle. I position the circle along the border. To prevent it from moving in the Z-axis, I use Shift-Z. Then under Materials, I give it a darker blue color. I select the border and tab into edit mode, and I move the left side of the border to the left side of the circle. I then move the right side of the border to the right side of the circle. Now move on to the animation. I changed the end frame to 48 to make this a 2-second animation. Then back in object mode, I select the border and open up the Object Data Properties tab. On frame 1, I change the bevel end to 0 and add a keyframe. Then on frame 48, change the bevel end to 1 and add a keyframe. Then I play the animation to see how it looks. To render the animation, under the Render Properties tab, I choose Transparent under the Film section. This means that I'll have a transparent background. Under the Output Properties tab, I choose where I'm going to save this render. I will use the default PNG file format, and under the Render drop-down menu, choose Render Animation. Now I change the timeline to the video sequencer. Under the Add drop-down menu, I choose Image/Sequence and import the PNG images. I change the file format to the FFmpeg video, and I choose MPEG-4 for my encoder. Then under the View drop-down menu, I choose Sequence Render Animation to render the video file. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.